Like Laura said, my name is Tracy, and the story I'm going to tell tonight is called You Had One Job. And it's about my family. We had recently moved to Underwood in '89. My dad had gotten a principal's position in Underwood, North Dakota, so we had moved there, and it was the beginning of the fall, and so school had just started. So my dad's a principal. My mom works at the nursing home in town as a nurse, and there's a time between 3 o'clock when my mom starts her shift and 5 o'clock when my dad comes back from work that my oldest sister, Shayla, at the time she was 10, Angie, my other sister, is 8, and I was 6. So Shayla, power-hungry oldest child, is in charge of us, which is not a real big stretch for her because after school it was typical that we would go to school for an additional 3 hours with her being our teacher slash dictator. So we had to obey her every command anyway, so might as well have my parents have some downtime in between. So it was pretty common that she was in charge of us. So my dad works across the street, my mom's downtown, and my mom says to Shayla, I'm going to work, it's only 2 hours, you're in charge, you have one job, keep these two alive, Dad's gonna be home. So Angie and I are outside raking, and Shayla also has this propensity to get out of work that she's not really interested in doing. So, for example, in later years, she would be, we're going to unload the dishwasher or clear the table after supper. Shay, can you help us? Yeah, I'm just going to go wash my hands. I'll be right back. And then you'll hear from the bathroom, 5, 6, 7, 8, G-O. Go. And she's practicing her cheerleading moves in the bathroom instead of helping us. And just in time when we'd be finishing up, she'd come out of the bathroom like, it's all done. Oh, okay. So there's that was kind of her MO. Well, anyway, this particular day we're outside raking leaves, and Shayla goes inside to feed the fish. And so we come out, or she goes in there, and Angie and I are raking leaves, and I get this great idea. She's in charge. I'm going to scare her. So I get Angie on board and I say, hey, you cover me up with these leaves. This is going to be really funny. We're going to scare Shayla. She's like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Nothing better than a younger child tormenting the oldest. And so I get covered up in these leaves and I'm waiting and I'm breathing in all the moldy goodness that is a fall day. And I'm breathing and I'm starting to wheeze. And I'm breathing and wheezing and I'm just waiting for her and she's not coming out. And so we're wondering where she's at. And I kind of poke my head out. Ange, where's Shayla at? She's still inside. We'll go see what she's doing. Okay, so Angie goes inside, finds Shayla inside, picking up the pieces of fish food that had fallen on the ground. She spilt the whole thing on the ground, and she's picking up the pieces one by one, not using a vacuum, not using a broom, her hands, because that's the best use of her time. So Angie convinces her to come outside, and I'm still committed to this prank of being in this big pile of leaves, and crawl out. And Shayla, it's so scary. You look like a cat. That was terrifying. Yes, nailed it. Failed it because later that night, I'm still wheezing and breathing horribly. And the only way I can describe it is I feel like I'm breathing through a coffee straw. Like that's the best I can muster. And so it's time for us to go to bed, and I'm still breathing terrible. And Angie's room is across the hall. Shayla and I share a room because we're besties. And and so we go to bed. My parents have a rule that once you're in bed, there's no getting up to get a drink of water, no heart-to-heart talks into the evening. You're in bed, you stay in bed. We don't want to be bothered. Go to bed. So I'm in bed. And Shayla, the loving sister that she is, shut up, Tracy. Oh my gosh, you're being so loud. Quit annoying me. I'm trying to get to sleep. Shut up. And I'm, stop breathing like that. Well, if I stop breathing like that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die because that's the only way I can breathe at this point. And Angie's across the hall with her bat ears, hears this. And she's like, that's not good. Compassionate sister that she is, breaks the rules of our house and goes downstairs, talks to my parents. They're watching a movie and they're like, Ange, what are you doing down here? You know the rules. And she's like, well, I know, but Tracy's breathing kind of funny and I'm worried about her. Okay, fine. So my mom goes upstairs and she's a nurse, and so she recognizes, oh my gosh, my kid's suffocating. So she does all the typical stuff, Vicks, hot shower, over-the-counter medicine. Nothing's working, and so they make a decision early in the morning that, we got to bring her to the hospital. Now, mind you, we're new to the area. We've been there maybe a month, 2 months, And the nearest hospital's out of town. We don't really know where. And it's what was a nice fall day, sunny, shiny, has now turned into this epic storm. It's just thundering and lightning and raining, and it's just terrible weather. So my dad and mom are hoping that I can make it to the hospital because nothing is working. So they're driving, and there's road construction. It's dark. They don't know where they're going, and it's out of town. And so they are going. My dad's driving along, and my mom is holding me in the back seat, praying over me that I'm not going to die in her arms and trying to make sure that I'm awake and breathing. And they get to the hospital, and the doctor's like, yeah, way to go. This is, I'm glad you brought her in, because if she would have been sleeping, you would have found her dead in the morning, because I was hovering around, I think it was like 50% lung capacity or something like it. It was terrible. They were worried I was going to have collapsed lung or something. Anyway, so where are my sisters, you might be asking? My parents don't trust babysitters because they're new to town. My dad's a principal, so everybody's a hoodlum. And so it's nighttime. I mean, how much trouble could it be? My sisters were sleeping, so my dad and mom decide, yep, somebody should go home, relieve them. They can't be alone forever. I mean, she's only 10. And so my dad goes home, gets some stuff for my mom because they're going to switch shifts because I have to stay there for a while underneath the oxygen tent. And they switch shifts, and my dad's on the way home. Yeah, it's only 12 miles away. It's not so bad in the daytime. They can probably handle being there. So my dad makes arrangements that he's just going to drive back, and my mom's going to come back. Now, remember, my mom worked from 3 to around 11, and then she got woken up for this girl. And then she's been worried about me all night, staying with me in the hospital. So she is exhausted. So by the time she gets home, my dad says to Shayla, okay, it's about a half hour. Mom will be home. You have one job. Keep yourself and your sister entertained and alive. So they go. My mom comes back, and she's just exhausted, ready for a shower and a nap. And she's greeted at the door with, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We'll never fight again. I love you, Angie. Please don't die. Follows the trail of blood from the corner of the living room through the hallway to the bathroom into the bathtub, where Angie is being cradled by Shayla, holding her head shut, because apparently, while I'm fighting for my life in an oxygen tent somewhere, they're fighting over an apple. The color is still not sure. We weren't sure if it's green or red. It's been over the years kind of discussed. We don't know for sure what it was, but it was definitely a fight for the apple. So anyway, my mom is exhausted and looks at this wound. It's about 1.25 inches long, and it needs stitches. And Angie, fun fact, has the most sensitive head in the world. She will not stand for people really even French braiding her hair, so stitches are out of the question. And so she's freaking out, and my mom's like, oh, whatever. I'm going to mommy MacGyver this. You're getting a French braid. And so my mom French braids her scalp back together and lets it set up for a little bit, takes a shower, takes a nap, gets the bleeding to stop, cold compress, all that. And then brings her to the hospital because, she's not neglecting her. She's going to check things out, going to check on me, going to get it taken a look at by the nurse. And the nurse says, yeah, that'll be okay. We'll just leave that alone. And we can just leave it like it is. And then that would be, okay. Her head ended up healing. I ended up being able to go home. And so I guess the epilogue to the story was my parents did not have Child Protective Services called on the new principal in town that one weekend where Shayla was in charge. Angie's head did, in fact, fuse back together. Not without incident, though. I think in the fall it's pretty typical, at least at our school, that there was lice checks. And Angie's also pretty shy, and so she's a new girl in school. She's got this French braid she's been rocking for a couple of weeks. Refuses to take the thing out so she can have lice checks. So my mom gets called from work. Hey, yeah, your kid won't let us take out the braid. So can you come down and talk her down so we can look at her hair for lice? She didn't have it, by the way. So my mom had to come and explain, yeah, we kind of got an incident. It's cool, though. The doctor looked at it. No big. And so I, of course, now hate nature. My favorite part is going back inside. Woohoo, North Dakota winters. Everything I'm allergic to is dead. And Shayla, technically speaking, did complete her job of keeping us alive for that weekend. So she was entrusted with more babysitting opportunities. Fun fact, I don't know if anybody had parents who saved the grease out of the fryer from time to time. I don't know about you guys, but we stored ours still in like little Fry Daddy. Anybody out there mistake that for soup? No? Just my sister? Cool. I ate grease the next time. So, yeah, I guess technically she succeeded. She had one job and she did it.